Good morning everyone, let's have a look at another couple of games today. Hope you're all doing well. Mid cup of tea. It's 10:30, but it probably should be 9:30, but they've brought the clocks forward and it's all horrible. So let's get stuck into a couple of games that have been sent by Raphael, who want me to take a look at them. So we'll see if they're up to standards. So this one's a motherlode. Yeah, I don't know why I clicked that. I can see it's motherlode by the giant C in the middle here. So we've got RVA Kick and Lucky Ashman versus Raphael, Cal, Vega, and Evil Squirrel. That's a name. So due back, bunch of nerfs that you can eat there. Is it like a... There's a lot of crate dragons, god damn. Can't stop there, that's crate dragon country. Some EOP's kicking about as well. Is it just one lure? I think it's just one. So, oh, there's two jukebacks here. Not sure where. Oh, that's pretty well hidden. So that's what, about 800 food or so. It's a sort of a mid-range sort of speed. Not as fast as those crazy ones where you get all the nerfs and you get all the Rontos. But decent enough to have a good sort of tech level one. You wouldn't need to farm right away. That's the sort of point we're getting at there. Motherlode tends to be quite easy to wall off. Air is probably the unit you expect to see the most in T3. You expect everyone to go T3 and air. Though you do get the odd mounty rushes, but that's only normally when there's 16 nerfs. Because otherwise it's not coming fast enough, and if you're Raphael, you have the easiest wall off of your life. That's what, maybe 8 prefab shelters or so. You can wall off that entire side. Nice easy one. You can see he's sending the worker over to get that done. You absolutely want to be doing that. Like if you're playing this with your friends as such, and it's, you know, something like a 3v3 and you are on the wing, you really do want to be walling off, because if someone is going for mounties, if they get into your side, it's going to cause problems. Having that wall going into the mid game as well, very important, because you can basically stop strike mechs during any raiding as such, and they would have to invest like 300 more carbon to get like an air transport or something to do damage with that, which does hinder quite a lot of civs. You can see that Kick's trying to do the wall as well, but he's entered crate dragon country, so I feel like you would normally beat this crate dragon, but he's taken so many hits that I'm not too sure. As soon as he goes up to this bit as well, he's got 2 crate dragons to fight. That's a good time. Trip center here from Cal Vega. What's he going to be getting up to? I don't think this side seems even easier to wall. But he's decided to opt for aggression. Could be because Lucky is Trade Federation and can't build prefab shelters. I'd like to think that that's the big brain moment here for Cal, rather than he's just like, you know what, I'm rushing. But there is an actual Russian player here, so let's have a look at what RVA is up to. Many farms, bit of Nova. He's on pocket duty, so he'll want to get himself up to T3 and help the wings out here. Not really much going on in this sort of period when everyone's laying down farms, getting up to about 12, 13, 15 farms. Trooper recruits being rallied across. Doesn't have an animal nursery because it was only 2 nerfs. But Lucky not too prepared for this. Very open basically. Like if he gets on top of this, you can see he's rallied them across. So he'll get the upgrade now that he's hit T2. And what that ensures is that they're already at this point in the map when the upgrade kicks in. So it's much better to do it that way, to build them first. He's got 3 out, but he's just not going for the throat. He should have already been scouting with the scout. Realised that he's got a huge window of opportunity here and done some damage. But instead he's opted to run all the way around. So about 15-20 seconds ago he could have been on this carbon, preventing the building of this turret. So this area he can't do damage to anymore. And this turret is almost guaranteed by this turret now. And because he's lost a couple of troopers here as well, it's a very tricky job for him to micro these. Because there's only 3 of them. So, very wasted opportunity. You can see that Raphael's hit T3, whereas Kick has only hit T2. That's an interesting dynamic. Double airbase coming down for Raphael. Probably going to slow this down now that we've made it out of the sort of early game. Or we'll lose track of everything that's going on. See the air being sent across. Looking to do some damage here onto the carbon. There's absolutely nothing for him to defend this. He's pinging air to his pocket, who's only just getting his air bases up. That's exactly what you want to hear from your wing. 3 fighters on top of him. And he's not even got 2 out yet, so... It's a huge amount of economic damage already, with so little investment for Raphael. On this side, I imagine Lucky's on his way to T3, Cal as well. Built his power core in that area, so he's had to put a power droid over here to get 2 mech factories going. Because it's not walled, he at least knows he can get strike mechs in. There's only 1 turret actually. I thought that would be a second turret. So strike mechs will be a bit more effective than you would initially think. If there was 2 turrets though, they'd only be able to keep them off the farms in the Nova. A lot of damage being done to kickstart there. Fort coming down, but how much is a fort going to do? When you're late to T3, you've lost a lot of workers. I feel like this is just better at this point. Like, Geonosians are so strong because typically they come out very quickly and you don't have anything to deal with them when they initially hit you. It's all about the element of surprise, because the damage that they do snowballs out of control, because they basically one-tap workers. But if you've hit T3 late in this situation, you should really be looking for some anti-air turrets, take the pressure off your pocket having to defend you from air, be able to defend yourself from your wing. And you're going to have to probably slam down a couple of command centres and sort of rebuild your workers. I don't think whipping out the Geonosian warriors and getting dangerous with them is the answer. So, some air from Evil Squirrel, sending his out now. He's decided to join into the game. Some strike mechs being rallied from that side. I think what Cal's Rush has guaranteed is that they can get strike mechs into their opponent's bases, because this side's never been walled. Which is something that they might not be too prepared for. See those fighters get a decentish trade. 2.5 shots. Lucky not microing his workers back into his command centre. RVA giving him trouble for not letting him know that he's got air. Raphael still massing air. Yeah, you can pretty much afford to. Cheeky rebel farm bonus. Get a couple of command centres down. He's in a very good spot. Decent economy. Whereas Kick is still just on the 1 command centre. I imagine there's some geos flying around. But it's how much are they really going to get done? I mean, if he go, I don't think he could even go for Raphael. You'd have to just look for windows of opportunity, just like arriving on someone who's just not prepared for it. Like maybe these Nova workers, but he's flown past them and instead Gone for the ones next to command center, which can be garrisoned in. If he'd caught these, he probably would have killed 4. A lot of air being sent around Lucky's base. Here comes Cal, who's decided it's time to start raiding after building up 6 strikes. It's taking a while considering he's got 2 mech factories. He did finally get on there. I'm surprised he never pulled these away. He knew there's a geo in his base. He should have seen that as a, oh, I'm very lucky he flew over those workers. I should probably get them away though, until I've got some air to defend myself. Air being sent out from Raphael here. Looks like RVA's sort of, he's almost positioning himself to be in the area to help. He has caught Raphael's air here. There's about 1 or 2 more fighters though for Raphael, and what an arc that they got there. That's not a good trade. Particularly with where those fighters are on the map as well. As they're technically now in RVA's base after winning that trade. And he's not really got much anti-air because, well, he's building his own air. And you would expect to defend air with your air. But he's had to throw down some turrets now. And almost forgo building air. And just look to transition into getting his economy up. So hopefully his wings can defend themselves now. Because he's not going to have much air to help them. You can see that Raphael's gotten another command center down. It's really just sort of booming away now. Another one coming down, I think. Once he gets those command centers enveloped with farms, his economy will really just shoot up and he'll be able to go T4. But it looks like he might be an ethical player. And rather than opting for maybe like a T4 air, he's setting up his troop centers. Really do like to see this done early so that you can transition, even if you do go for the air, because you can't just sit and play air forever. You do want to have ground forces, and the troopers from Rebels are very, very strong. It's a bit of air still being microed around. It's this sort of point in the game where it's almost like, why bother? There's turrets everywhere. The damage you do is just insignificant. He shot a farm. He's going to lose all his fighters. Better just focusing on your economy and getting a forward up and just utilising, like, if you take your air and you use it for map control rather than to raid at this point. And what I mean by map control is, like, say for example, guaranteeing that you get this forward up, right? Preventing your opponent from like putting a command center down here or here and grabbing up these resources. That's a better utilization than just like dancing between these turrets and basically losing everything. Because it does encourage you to just overspend and build even more, and you're not really getting any damage done. The strike mechs are a little bit different because they're much more durable and there's a lot more outplay potential. I'm not saying you can't micro air, but odds are the game can lag. Air's very, very finicky with that. There's a lot of times that your air just doesn't move in the right way, or it moves backwards, and because it's so volatile and it's 2-shot kills, that's not the best. Whereas the strike mechs, a lot more durable, get better use out of those. And plus, people don't tend to really build turrets to defend strike mechs, so you've got to rely on a unit that can be lured away from positions. But you don't want to be doing this. Straight into 2 MDs. Oh, he's got no upgrades. You could kill them. A bit of micro. You could kill those and keep the pressure on. But he's opting to run away. It's a little bit here, just sitting in the centre there. This premature shield here. There's a fort. Bit of a discussion about why they don't have a wall on this side, which is certainly holding them back. Even just a wall here would be good. So RVA halfway to T4. Doesn't have any military production though. He's actually got a cracking amount of food and carbon as well. If he just had a forward somewhere. It looks like he's trying to send these guys over to Cookside, so it's Raphael's army that we're worried about. He doesn't have much to break through a wall. I guess T4. Cannons are a little bit. I don't know if that's a good position. It'd be nice if you got pushed on. Cheeky bit of protection. But it's probably going to take ages to get out of there. I think you should be running these troopers in and looking to do as much shock damage as possible. And they are very cheap. But if he was using his air to scout this position and make sure RVA is not getting something up to defend them, that would be good use at this point in the game. You see that Kick's just sort of folding here, like he's got nothing to deal with this. He's got a very poor economy, he's got no military infrastructure. RVA's not yet got his forward up despite being T4. It's going to take a while. Like, how's he doing for his upgrades? He's gotten a couple. He's going to have to throw out quite a bit of strike mechs. You can see that Raphael is putting some mech destroyers in with some decent upgrades as well, which is good. Because that's going to slow down the amount of time it takes for RVA to defend this with just strike mechs. This cannon's not been pulled though. The cannon should have been pulled as well. It could have got this on the shield early while there's nothing to defend it. It's still kicking about at home. I hate to see it. Red being annoying with air. He really needs to just transition into something else. Like, he should maybe be on this side with a forward or getting involved on this side. It's a decent arc here. Although these troopers are going down a wee bit. Not enough upgrades. Only +2. All the medium mechs. It's a decent boomed economy though, so it will eventually spiral into a death ball. We see more production being laid down by Raphael here. Lacing in the mech destroyers. I don't know if this trade was worth it though. I feel like holding this area and just littering this with cannons is really the way to be going. Helps you take up more land and puts more pressure on. It's not best to fight into rally points unless you've got a huge advantage in numbers. And then it's almost like spawn killing. See that the air player has brought himself over, but neither player went to fight there. But here's the cannons then, that's what we're talking about. This is the best way to go. Another fort coming down. Get some speeders as well, which would be really nice against Galactic Empire. As you can see, he's going for assault mechs as well. So unless he's got turrets built up to this point, they should be snipeable. If we get some speeders out. Cal seems about 20 minutes behind Raphael in what he's doing. He does have buildings, but he's just not building too much out of them. These are just getting stuck. Not sure why he's getting so many strike mechs. I don't see anything on this side that would encourage you to go for strike mechs. So we'll just focus on this side because it's basically where all the action is happening. I do wish Raphael built some cannons just leading up to this moment and then switched to speeders. Why is this still here? This could all be dead by now before these even got out. Like, there could be no shield on these and no forts around them, and then speeders murder them. But irregardless, it'll still be a very hard position for this to break, because there's just not enough of it. Here we go. 3 cannons now. Go for the shield. Difficult for these to even like get in a position to shoot them as well, because of the way these buildings are and how much the shield covers. Slightly more strike mechs here. See, RVA's built an army here. It's a bit unfortunate that he does have to do this. I feel like he's going to split himself across two sides and not win either of them. I think what he's just fortunate is that this investment is not in mech destroyers, because if it's in mech destroyers, this is probably dead. There goes another fort. It's really just a 1v3. Am I the only one making units? Yes. Here's the Jedi will tell you. I would probably leave after that. I consider myself quite a tenacious player as well, but no. As soon as these get converted, bad times. And here comes assault mechs now from Cal, so too much to worry about. And like, he's just going to dance forward and back, and he has to micro this, and then he has to micro this, and there's grenadiers, and there's just so many opportunities for things to go wrong. Set himself in the front of those shields. Here come the Jedi now, though. Yeah, see, that's enough to tell you. He's not converting very well, though. I'm going to convert one of them. I think he missed one of them and hit an MD. There we go. A little bit late though, a lot of troopers went down. A bit of a botched attack. Difficult for them to deal with Jedi as well. Not a lot of ore left because of building all the anti-air turrets, and what, that's 3 forts that have been destroyed for kick. So the more Jedi gets out, the quicker they'll snowball. See the Cal pulling out all the stops, air cruiser as well in this tight choke. It really is just stacked against him here. I mean, what could we say really went wrong on these wings? I mean, Kick's tech time for one. It was too slow. The response after, you know, being second best in T3 as well to go for the fort wasn't worth it. Hampered his ability to defend himself. Had to get himself back in the game. And then lucky not walling. Even after surviving the initial rush. Yeah, I don't see a way out of this, I'm afraid. They're certainly trying though, gotta give them that. I mean, he's telling him to make bounty hunters, but he's lost 3 forts. Not going to be able to make bounty hunters. 2 air cruisers just sitting in the back here as well. I think they kind of just know that they've sort of won this side. They just need to stop any sort of push. And that's it. 2 air cruisers here as well. Right pair of rats, these two. Absolute abuse. But no, 1 air cruiser is always good to mix in, just because it forces a certain response. Either air to be thrown at you and suicided, or maybe upgraded anti-air mobiles. Buys you a lot of time as well if you're being pushed on, particularly in chokes. Very dangerous against artillery. You take a lot of damage from it. This is too many Jedi to deal with. I don't think the air needs to... The air should just sit and defend the air cruisers. Wasting resources there. Bit of a push here. I mean, if you really want to just get through, just attack ground the carbon and create a bigger arc. More space for yourself to push and envelop your enemy. It's particularly what I think Carl should do in this instance, because he's effectively playing a player that's across 2 fronts, which means he can field a lot more units than him, whereas the choke benefits him massively in a defensive capacity. So if he kills the trees or the carbon rocks all around there, he can just get in. You can even crawl through the carbon and just send strike mechs as well, just attack ground. Some nice shots there from the air cruisers. Armies are surging forward. Game's lagging a wee bit there. Really not much that can be done. Need to shoot the assault mech. Must say RVA's doing a decent job. Certainly not got a lot of food though. Why is this taking so long to flush through? Is he missing an upgrade? I feel like they get a little bit more health than that. Oh, 4 air cruisers now. He's got the spaceport. He's getting some holocrons now as well. There come the GGs now. There's not much they could have done. They lost that game in T3. And just what we talked about earlier. The wall, the tech time, the damage taken, and then the response to that as well. Just made things too difficult. I think RVA had a very good boom. We could have had a forward up quicker though. But if these two held their own a bit better, it could have been that RVA just clashes with Raphael earlier. And you know, he might win that outright just because of how strong Galactic Empire are on the ground, especially in a game where you can just sort of straight off boom. And this is really made strong by how far he can push and keep the army alive without trading too much, and then add the support units in, like the air cruisers and the Jedi from his pocket. But if it comes to like full clashing of mech destroyer v mech destroyer, or mechs versus troopers and mech destroyers, they are going to win eventually just because of the upgrades that they get. But it was an interesting showcase. I'll call it there. I'll do another one tomorrow. If there's anything that you'd like to see from the channel, please leave a comment. Anything you liked about today's video, leave a comment. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.